So today's episode we are doing a few things for a phone holder. I've got a phone holder, wireless charger. It just clips on the vents here. I decided with the vent one just because it's a little bit more versatile. Hopefully it fits. I haven't actually tried it, but hopefully it does. If not, I'm not sure. So I need to get USB power to that, and I don't really want cables trailing up in front here, so I'm going to bring a cable out here somewhere. Once the dash is back on, I might have to put, I'm not sure, I might be able to sneak it out here somewhere. So for that I want to, rather than have it plugged in the cigarette lighter, I'm going to have USB, a couple of USB ports behind the stereo unit and climate control. I have already got this kind of loose and removed because I was tracing out another audio issue which you may have seen part of. I'm not sure if I've covered it or not, but yeah, so I've got this out. So one of the other things I want to do is currently I only have a CD stereo. I'd like it to have Bluetooth. Now this particular stereo did have a Bluetooth adapter you could purchase, but they're quite hard to come by now and they are quite expensive. So what I've done is, I've never seen them before, but I bought this. So the idea is this aux will, or 3.5 aux will fit in the back of this particular head unit, and the USB will plug into a USB somewhere. The idea is you can stream your phone via Bluetooth, I guess, to this USB powered part, and then it feeds it down into this 3.5, which will be into the back of this head unit. So I'm really curious to see how good this is, if it even works. I mean, I've never seen them before, but yeah, I feel like it's maybe £15 or less on Amazon. So I'm really curious to see what this is like. So we'll give it a go. So here is the Bluetooth adapter. It's a lot smaller than actually I thought it would be. I'm really curious to see how this goes. So let's get this plugged in the back and go from there. So for USB power behind all of this, I bought these from Amazon. They seem to have good reviews. So it's just 12 volts in on the red and black cable, and then out of it you get two USB ports. So this one will be, for example, for my phone charger and the Bluetooth setup for the head unit. The other one I've got, one of them will be used to power my audio or sound recorder, which I haven't shown on the channel yet, but I will show that hopefully soon. And then it will leave one free for if I kind of have a GoPro set up or a dash cam or something, I can just power it from these. Hopefully you can see this. Here's the back of the stereo. This 3.5 will just go into the back here, and then this USB will go into one of my new USB ports. So let's get that hooked up. So one of the other things I want to do while I have the dash out is replace this cigarette lighter port. I've got a USB one with a voltmeter on it, so I thought that'd be good to put in there if possible. Yeah, so let's get this one out. I think if I remember correctly, I have to prise, there's one tab here and another tab up here. I think I have to prise them, and then the middle section will come out, which then allows me to pull kind of the bulb holder piece backwards, if I remember correctly. So let's try and do that. So I was wrong slightly. It's not those two tabs. There's actually two little, I don't know if you can see, there's two little tabs here, or plastic kind of nipples, I guess, that lock into that piece there and opposite side as well. So if you kind of give it a little bit of shimmy, it does just pop out, hopefully. It's got stuck again now, so let me see why. So I may need to rethink this now that I've actually got the nut on to come onto the back. I can see that I can't actually get because of that housing, I can't actually get the nut on. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. I don't particularly want to cut this housing out because I think it gives it a little bit of strength. Now, whether I can take the lugs off of this kind of castellated nut, it may fit in then, but then it's going to be a little bit of a pain to tighten up. So yeah, I'm going to have to rethink this. So here's the plug for the cigarette lighter port. You can see a little nick out the cable here. That's because at some point it's had one of these, I call them vampire crimps, I think to drive something once the ignition's on, because these only come on with the ignition. But what I would like to do is use this signal to drive a relay, and then this relay will switch for the new fuse box I've put in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off pretty much on that mark on both cables, put 2 new crimps on. I'm going to save this plug if for some reason I want to go back to the OEM. This is also for the lamp, so I guess this probably only has power when you put the lights on. So I'm going to leave that as it is, but it's good to know that it's there, because in the future if I have any kind of lights that I want to come on, then yeah, I can put them on with this. So I've got the crimps on the positive and the negative. I've got this one on the positive because I also want to take off another accessory, like I said, to another relay. I will get some heat shrink once I've made up the other connections, and I'll heat shrink all of this, so then it's not exposed. It's a shame, I mean they might do, but I've not seen it before, but to be honest I've probably not looked for it. So it'd be nice if they had like these type but insulated. That'd be really cool. But yeah, I'll get some heat shrink and cover this once I've finished making it all up. So here's the relay that I'm using. This is rated up to 40 amps. Now I'm not going to be putting 40 amps down here, but it's good to know if I should need it. I've got one with a plug with some wires, so I can just crimp onto these and get the connections I need. Now if you've never used a relay before, they're quite easy. On the front there you can see the coil between 85 and 86, so that's what you would put the power on to operate the relay, and then the switching points 87A, 87 and 30. So the switch is 30, and that will, when you have got no power, it will send the voltage down to 87A, and when you apply the power to 85 and 86, it will then switch this relay over to 87, and these are all marked on the back. The back here you can see next to each pin. It's quite straightforward, so let's get this wired up. So here's a test fit. The relay is operating. I can hear it clicking, which is great. And here is the USB cigarette lighter replacement. So this is quite cool. It's quite bright. But yeah, I did find out that there's a button on the side here. If you press it, it will turn the display off, which is quite cool. So at night, if it is too bright, I can just press that and the display disappears. But yeah, it's good to see voltage, because interestingly we've got loads of gauges in here, but none of them actually display volt. So yeah, this is fluctuating because I have the car on charge at the moment, so that's why you can see it kind of ramping up and down. Yeah, cover is quite good, but I did notice that it doesn't, I guess it does if you're looking directly at it, but this is going to be down here, so from my point of view I can't really see the numbers very well. I kind of have to move my head down to actually see it, but that doesn't matter, you know, I can always just flick up the cover like that if I need to, or I may even just take the cover off completely. I haven't decided yet. I'm really pleased with that. So we can now get this relay, the other wires primped up and into the fuse carrier, which is tucked away behind here, because that's the best place I can find for it at the moment, although it's definitely not the best place for it. So here we are. I've got everything pushed back now. I've got the center dials, climate control and radio mounted back. So the last thing to do really is get this cigarette lighter installed. I've 3D printed this, let me get it in focus, to kind of slide over the back and keep it in place once we put it into this holder, because if you remember, the nut won't fit on this. So let's give it a test fit and see how it does. So here we are, all installed. and I've got my 3D printed bracket in there. I was going to put a screw in there just to stop it turning. Actually, probably through the fault of my own design, there's a couple of ridges on the inside of this 3D printed thing. It's actually locked into the threads really well, so I can't actually in any way move this around without a great deal of force. So I'm going to trial it like that, I think. And also, I don't have an M5 tap with me at the moment. That's another reason. But this is really solid, so I think it'll be okay. So let's get the dash put back together. So I've got the dash pretty much back in now. I'm really happy that actually I managed to find a way through the vent to get this USB-C charger for my phone holder I'm putting in. Hopefully that'll kind of almost be hidden and you'll just see the phone charger sat there, and we'll get that up in a minute. So I just need to get this piece in with the cigarette, or what was a cigarette lighter, and then the gear shifter back on, and then we'll have a look, see how it looked all together. And here we are, all back together. We've got the phone holder there, voltmeter here. So let's give it a test. Where did I put the key? So we've got the voltmeter on there, showing what? It's 13 volts. Yeah, so like I said, I've got this on a charger at the moment, trickle charger, so that's why that's fluctuating. And I've got the phone charger all ready to go. You can see the back light on that. Unfortunately can't show you when I put this phone on, but yeah, it's pretty good, and I can still, from my driving position, I can still see the clock, which is good. Just move that cable a little bit. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so I would say job done.